You turned a 5-6 grand pot into a six-figure number and then sadly gave large amounts back. Is this something you want to talk about?
Well, I actually started out with £200 and within 7 to 8 months it was up to about 30 grand, which is ridiculous really, and no one kind of, but it is a true story. I mean, at the beginning I did have to sometimes top my account up a little bit just to stop myself getting a margin call, but by and large it was we're talking about hundreds of pounds up to tens of thousands in about 6 to 7 months, which was one of the most bizarre experiences of my life, to be honest. This was as a sideline while I was doing my main job, and to be honest I wasn't really thinking much about my main job at the time because I was too excited with how the trading was going. So yeah.
What did you I understand you lost quite a lot of that, but you gave it back. But what did you learn from that experience about greed, loss?
Yeah, what I learned was the reason I grew it to such an extent was because in hindsight, I was taking far too big a risk and I was putting on far too much. My position size was much too big for what it should have been. But having said that, if I hadn't have taken those risks in the first place, it would never have grown so much. It was really an experiment into the power of compounding. That's why I did it. I did it purely as an experiment. I thought, if I put a couple of £100 in, it's not going to be the end of the world if I lose that. So I probably took on far too big position size than I would if I'd have had more money in there, because I had this kind of, I've really got not a lot to lose attitude. But then it kept growing and growing until it did nearly get to 6 figures at one point. That was the highest it ever got to. Unfortunately, I then took on far too big a trade and had about the worst month of my life as I watched it go down, and as I watched this big tower I'd been building get knocked down. So it was a massive lesson. It was very, very painful to see everything I'd worked for over nearly 2 years get wiped out in one trade, but I learned a heck of a lot from it.
Does an event like that, and did the event that took place then, was that the catalyst for saying, well, actually, you know what, I've learnt a lot, I can make this a full-time occupation? Or had you given up?
Well, I'd pretty much given up by then. It was such a blow to have gone from having all that money to not having it that it took me a long time. I was pretty shell-shocked for a few months, but once the emotional side of it, the impact had disappeared, I then thought, well, I looked at objectively, why did I lose that money? You know, what was the main reason for losing it? And I was thinking, well, you must have been doing something right to have grown it as you did. So I've basically just cut down on the leverage massively, because it's, in my opinion, it's the excessive leverage which is the number one reason why traders lose money. Because if you're leveraged, say 25 to 1, and the market moves just 3% against you, then that's 75% loss. You know, so you're really asking to lose your money if you go too leveraged, in my opinion. And I think a lot of new traders, say if they've got £200 in their account, they'll do like £1 a point or £2 a point, which is ridiculous really in hindsight, because you've only got to have 1 or 2 losing trades, or even one, and that's your whole account gone. And I think people do that all the time from my experience, and people I know have done that. And you know, you just have to let people make their own mistakes. You just have to learn from your own mistakes in the markets, just like anything else in life really, in my opinion. So.